What up, everybody? What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer, and we are at episode 72. Yep, it's at episode 72 now. Moving our way on up. Now, this is the first live stream. We're back from not being pre-recorded. Now, I don't know if you've seen it, but on my channel, I have listed, I thought I was going to start in December, but I'm going to start this week. So this week and from moving forward, I will be live streaming Monday through Friday at 6 or 7. Most likely at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for an hour. We're going to go over 4 different topics that is what we need to talk about that day. What we need to talk about could be breaking news, could be updates to some crazy story we're going over, but it's going to be 4 different topics around an hour's worth of time. So from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. So this time we meeting at 7 today. But so this will be the first day. So I try to be consistent with everything. So from now on, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 or 7 to 8, just you'll know earlier in the day. But we got to get to it. And we got to review the world together, y'all. We have to review the world together. Now, remember, y'all, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos I'm dropping. We got crazy things to go over. So like I said, this is going to be an hour long, 4 different topics. And so we got a lot of things to cover today. A lot of interesting things to cover. 4 different interesting things to cover. Some updates from the teen girl who died on the cruise. Crazy update. So we got some stuff of that. Then we also got some new street takeovers and mobs going crazy in New York City. And then we're going to go over to, we got Oregon pipeline leak that also is affecting travel. So that's a crazy thing. And then a Slender from 2014 Slender Man stabbing. I don't know what all this is about, but looks like a girl was arrested and got some body cam footage. So we just got some interesting topics to go over. So you know how I like to do it. Let's jump right into it. The first thing we're going to cover today, is we got to go over to the updates to the teen girl who died on Carnival. So, Anna Kepner, I might be saying her name wrong, I apologize, but these are her updates. So they actually have a cause of death, and then we got some interesting new details and information about the stepbrothers. But let's get over into it and see what all stuff we can learn. We got a few videos to look at, so let's jump over into it and see what we can learn from these new updates. Let's jump into it.
An autopsy reportedly revealing the 18-year-old girl found dead on a cruise ship died from asphyxiation from an arm across her neck. It comes as the Daily Mail obtained court records with her stepbrother's initials, T.H., saying he is, quote, currently the subject of an active FBI criminal investigation. Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett joins us now. Great to see you this morning, Greg. Thanks for joining us. So obviously there are a lot of complications here, and you've got a couple of things going on here with both the criminal investigation and then you have this other case involving a divorce that looks like the FBI may be looking at the step brother.
Yeah, I think that's true. It really is strange and tragic at the same time. Asphyxiation by strangulation, reportedly the cause of death, bruise marks on the side of the throat.
Oh.
The victim's body was found wrapped in blankets, covered with life jackets, hidden beneath the bed. So obviously, murder is the likely scenario, although I wouldn't rule out an unintentional death and then a panic cover-up. But I think that's less likely. The step-family dynamics, Charlie, as you point out, are bizarre. They're alarming. I mean, you need a flowchart to figure out who's who. But the focus does seem to be on Anna's 16-year-old stepbrother, who was allegedly obsessed with her, and they were supposedly seen fighting with one another in the hours before her death. Then he was hospitalized when the ship returned to Miami the next day, which only adds to the deepening mystery, Charlie.
Here is Anna Kepner's grandmother talking about the cause of death on ABC World News tonight.
The FBI contacted my son and family and told us her cause of death. Her cause of death was asphyxiation. She, what do they call it, a bar hold?
Yes.
Where you take the elbow like this. They said when they took her body to the medical examiner's office, it was in perfect condition.
So that doesn't necessarily mean that it was intentional.
This is a crazy situation. Crazy situation. Now, if you remember back in the last time we talked about this, they had like an official time of death of where they had it on, when she died on there. So we got this. It's a crazy situation. Of course, you'll have official time of death from the autopsy and everything, but the parents were a little confused on how they was already able to narrow down the time of death. But it's a crazy situation. Stepbrother, 18-year-old stepbrother is suspected. Let's get into it.
Right. It could be intentional, unintentional. That's less likely, as I say. Hopefully the crime scene, Charlie, was preserved by ship authorities, cordoned off so that it could be examined by the FBI for incriminating evidence, particularly important DNA on the body, including under the girl's fingernails. It's possible that law enforcement obtained a court order to examine the stepbrother for defensive wounds on his body. That's
Makes
always
sense.
key. And of course, surveillance video on board the ship would be valuable, access, egress to and from the room where the body was found. And then the data collection. You know, when you use a key card to gain access to a room, that data is collected. They'll look at that. The sleeping arrangements involving step-siblings is incredibly strange. 3 underage kids, different genders, all staying in the same room. The 16-year-old suspect was allowed to drink alcohol. And, you know, there's parental liability here. The stepmother has reportedly invoked her Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. But that does not, under law, protect communications between her and the son. So, you know, the whole thing is a quagmire. The FBI is going to have to sort it out.
Yeah. Well, Greg Jarrett, you always break these things down for us very clearly, and we are grateful to you for it. Thank you.
Absolutely crazy situation. So just let's go through what we learned from this. So the brother is looking at, he was obsessed. Stepbrother was obsessed with the sister, the 18-year-old who died. Her cause of death is asphyxia, or someone, she's basically being choked to death. It's a crazy situation. Let's get over into this next video to where we hear from the ex-boyfriend who talked about how he seen the brother around her. So let's get over into it.
New bombshell details about Anna Kepner, the 18-year-old high school cheerleader who was found dead on a cruise ship. It's being reported she died of asphyxiation after an arm was held against her neck. This all comes as we speak with Anna's ex-boyfriend, who says loud screams and chairs being thrown were heard inside Anna's cabin before her naked body was found shoved under a bed. Ann Mercogliano has the latest.
Was 18-year-old cheerleader Anna Kepner strangled to death aboard the cruise ship? ABC News reports that Anna died from asphyxiation. She was strangled with a bar hold using an arm across her neck. She was not sexually assaulted, and there were no signs of drugs or alcohol.
He would bring you home.
Hours before she was found dead on the cruise ship, the sound of a violent confrontation reportedly could be heard inside her stateroom. We're told Anna's 14-year-old brother Connor says he tried to get into the stateroom that he, Anna, and their 16-year-old stepbrother were sharing, but that it was locked. Anna and the stepbrother were still inside, and Connor reportedly says he could hear disturbing sounds through the door. Anna's ex-boyfriend says he spoke to the cheerleader's brother about what happened that night.
You heard him yelling at her, like in a harmful way, of like, shut the hell up and stuff like that. And that's when Connor knew something was going on.
And there was screaming going on.
Yes, ma'am. Like something was like banging around and stuff, and like the chairs were getting thrown around in the room.
Anna's ex, Joshua, too, spoke with Inside Edition following her funeral at a church outside Orlando. He says that Anna was so afraid of her stepbrother that she frequently slept over at her friends' homes.
She just didn't feel safe around him.
Joshua says the 16-year-old stepbrother, who is now under suspicion in Anna's death, was sexually harassing her. He says he once saw him trying to climb into bed with her.
She's scared to tell anybody because she was scared that he would do something to her.
The FBI is investigating Anna's death because it happened in international waters. There was a tense atmosphere at Anna's funeral last night. Anna's biological mother told Inside Edition she was banned from attending but snuck in wearing a wig. Mourners were told to dress in bright colors to reflect Anna's bubbly personality.
It's been pretty hard. She was my first love. She was the greatest thing ever.
Wow. That's a lot of information to unpack. So the stepbrother was sexually harassing the stepdaughter, or sexually harassing his stepsister. I said stepdaughter. The stepson was sexually harassing the stepsister, basically. I want to know, did she tell her step-parents about this? Did she tell her parents about this? Her father, the stepmother, about what was going on? But it sounds like she didn't because she was scared of what the stepbrother could have done. This is a crazy situation, but he is the number one suspect right now. So let's get over into this next video. It basically, was it murder? Was it murder?
For the first time, the
this one going to another.
Our top story tonight, the mysterious death of Anna Kepner. The word murder is now being used to describe how the Titusville teen died on a Carnival cruise ship. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Marlisa Goldsmith.
And I'm John Brown. Her 16-year-old stepbrother is still a suspect, but the question is, why haven't there been any arrests? Fox 35's Chancellor Wynn is live on that story tonight. So, Chancellor, new information coming in is from documents in a divorce case.
Yeah, John, this is all from a family court case between Anna Kepner's stepmother and her ex-husband. Well, now people who were on board the Carnival cruise when Anna Kepner died might have to testify in a custody hearing, and that includes Anna Kepner's 16-year-old stepbrother, who is a suspect in the FBI's investigation.
A child custody case continues giving us insight into the death of 18-year-old Anna Kepner, specifically that her 16-year-old stepbrother is the suspect in the, quote, suspected murder of his mother's stepdaughter.
I would have difficulty in them putting the 16-year-old on the stand because I don't want anything done that would incriminate the young man.
That's the voice of the attorney representing Anna's stepmother in a custody case between her and her ex-husband, as Anna's stepbrother could be one of the people called to testify in a custody hearing next week.
So you intend to call 3, if not potentially 4 witnesses: the mother, the stepfather, the father, and possibly the minor child, the 16-year-old.
Ahead of the hearing, Anna's stepmother is now asking a judge to seal the case to stop any more information from being released.
What's interesting in this case is that it's the parties and the family law case who actually put out the statements in the motion. And that would grab, public attention. Had they not mentioned any of that, if you notice, there's no information really coming from the FBI.
Criminal defense attorney Jose Rivas, who is not associated with the case, says the family court could simply postpone the hearings until the criminal investigation into Anna's death is resolved.
Just because there's a criminal investigation doesn't necessarily mean, you have to put a gag order in and restrict the information that would usually be allowed for public access.
Now, more than 2 weeks since Anna died, her cause of death has not been released, and a suspect still has not been arrested.
If this
So they're saying
truly was a homicide, if it was, and I'll take it a step further, was a murder, they need to get that person who committed that crime locked up because they are a danger to the community.
Now, the family court judge has not yet made a ruling in whether she will seal this custody case and ban media from attending. Reporting live, Chancellor Wynn, Fox 35 News.
Chancellor, thanks so much.
Now they saying that there hasn't been any cause of death mentioned. Let's go to a quick search. Okay, so they have, okay. This might be a little older what they're talking about. So the cause of death has been officially confirmed by the Miami-Dade Medical Examiner's Office, ruled her death as a homicide. And the mechanism is asphyxia. Sources briefed on the investigation indicated that she died from a bar hold and 2 bruises were found on her neck. So this is a little older information, but the family's going through a custody battle right now. They're wanting to decide on if they're going to need to hold off on it or not. It's a crazy situation. But just to recap on everything we found out, the 16-year-old stepson, or her stepbrother, is the main suspect right now. Is the potential suspect in the case, though the FBI has not publicly confirmed that. They said that the teen body was concealed under the bed and found concealed under the bed by the room attendant. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think the stepbrother did it? Do you think it was weird to have them all in the same hotel room? So it was a 14-year-old, a 16-year-old, and an 18-year-old. The 14-year-old and the 16-year-old were boys, and the 18-year-old was a girl. Now, if they're family and treat each other like family, I mean, when they get 18-year-old, I can see, okay, 18-year-old girl. Yeah, you need... Once girls get to a certain age and boys and girls get to a certain age, they need to sleep in separate rooms. That's what I think, but let me know your thoughts on, was that weird? But they said that the ex-boyfriend confirmed that she was scared of the 16-year-old and that he was sexually harassing her. It's a crazy situation. It's a crazy situation, y'all. But let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolutely crazy. But we're gonna pivot. We're gonna pivot over into New York. So it looks like New York City had a violent mob street takeover. A violent mob street takeover where people got hurt, cars got set on fire. It's a crazy world we live in, y'all. But what do I always say? We got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. Let's get over into this. We got a few videos to look at, so let's get over into it and see what we can figure out.
All right, this was a chaotic scene in a typically quiet Queens neighborhood over the weekend. A mob of people taking over the streets by driving wildly, and things only escalated from there when they set a car on fire and physically attacked homeowners who tried to intervene. Here is more from that scene and a warning. This footage may be disturbing for some viewers.
Ooh. This is senseless. This is crazy. Yo, chill.
And as that violent unrest carried on, residents were apparently told to call a quality of life team and not the NYPD, leading to some major questions over what is to come once the next mayor takes office. Join me now to discuss.
Oh, let's back that up. You heard what they said? They said, call a quality of life team and not the police. Yo, chill. They're kicking him in the head.
And as that violent unrest carried on, residents were apparently told to call a quality of life team and not the NYPD, leading to some major questions over what is to come once the next mayor takes office. Joining me now to discuss is former New York City Republican Councilman Joe Borelli. Joe, it's good to see you. So this all happened at 2:30 a.m. on Sunday, and some of the residents who tried to intervene were beat up, one so badly that this mob broke his rib and nose and even punched his wife. Who are these people and why is this happening?
They said that the mob punched his wife in the face. Ruthless, absolutely ruthless.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that even people who try to correct this behavior end up worse in this situation. But this is sort of a new trend. We're seeing this happen on TikTok and Instagram and social media, where people sort of take over a street and do all sorts of dangerous car tricks just to get attention. Unfortunately, this incident escalated beyond that when this neighbor came out and said, "Hey, maybe you don't want to cause a ruckus in front of my house at 2:30 in the morning." But this is sort of the lawlessness that we could expect to see when police departments are defunded, when recruitment is down, when the number of overall officers decreases, because there were calls to the police department that night. And unfortunately, the precinct that covers this area simply did not have enough officers to respond. They were responding to what they thought was more pressing incidents nearby, and it took an extra time for it to be addressed as what it was, which was an assault on a neighbor.
Yeah, here's the quote from Vicky Palladino, who represents this area. She said on X, response to this incident was less than ideal. Residents reporting the incident to 911 were told that quality of life teams and 911 should handle the situation. Unacceptable. In fact, these violent street takeovers should be met with maximum force by the police department. The police later apologized and said that they thought that this was a drag racing incident and they didn't have enough police officers at the time to handle this situation. That raises a lot of questions because the police commissioner right now, Jessica Tisch, says she wants to increase the number of police officers on the force. The incoming mayor says the numbers we have right now are fine. So what do you think about this debate?
He's wrong. I mean, he's 100% wrong. We had 2,500 officers resign in 2025 or retire in 2025. Mayor Adams announced the department would budget for 5,000 additional officers to make up for multiple years of shortfall. That is the right approach. Mayor Adams should reconsider, and to talk about having some quality of life team address this is ridiculous. These kids don't need a guidance counselor or midnight basketball. They need to be punished. They need to be punished immediately. There needs to be police on the scene. Unfortunately, this.
Now, it is crazy because they said call the quality of life or 311, which is the non-emergency line. Come on now. Somebody was getting punched in the face. His wife was getting beat. He was getting stomped on the ground, jumped. They're doing donuts. They're messing up property. They're not caring about who gets hurt. And then they want you to call the non-emergency line. Oh, then they make the excuse saying, "Oh, well, we ain't got enough officers." Makes me sick. Let's keep going.
Incident is one where if police were here earlier when this 911 call first came through, it would not have resulted in an assault. It would have been just a case of perhaps some teenagers misbehaving. Maybe some summonses would have been issued. But because the police didn't respond, it escalated into an assault on a neighbor.
Yeah, it's a great point. And it's called a quality of life team now, which I don't think many New Yorkers even knew existed. But Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani also wants to create this department of community safety where social workers respond to some crimes, shifting responsibility away from the police department. So could we see more of this type of response? And is this the right plan to keep New Yorkers safe?
Yeah, look, Carly, we certainly fail on the second responders, the people who come after the police, the children's services, the domestic violence counselors. We're not doing a good job following up after those incidents. That's 100% accurate. Mayor Mamdani is right to focus on that. The problem is he wants those people to be the first responders. We know domestic violence incidents are some of the most dangerous incidents police officers respond to, and we would never want to jeopardize their safety, the jeopardy of the victim, and even the safety of the attacker in some cases, by having a community safety officer respond. We should have the police respond as they do and then make an assessment on what the follow-up should be, not vice versa. It'll be too long before we can get an armed police officer there should things go wrong if one of these, community social workers show up, without a police officer.
Yeah, it's
100% correct. I can't see a need. Don't send a social worker first. Come on now. Like, the situation can go out of hand quickly. Police officer, you can, if possible, send both a police officer and a social worker, but they don't have the budget for it. Most places probably don't have the budget for it. Let's pivot over into the next video, just more about this information.
NYPD tonight is promising to increase patrols in a neighborhood in Queens where residents say they were terrorized during an illegal so-called street takeover this past weekend. Speeding drivers did donuts on the streets of Malba, and the crowd became violent, even setting a security guard's car on fire that was intentionally parked to slow down the reckless drivers. And one resident was even beaten. Here's Eyewitness News reporter Shantae Lance.
From the dangerous donuts to an unarmed security guard's car taken and set on fire. This neighborhood in Malba, Queens, near Whitestone, was ground zero of a violent car meetup early yesterday morning.
Fractured shoulder, fractured ribs, fractured bone in my face.
This homeowner's arm is in a sling after getting attacked while on his front lawn by at least.
And they want you to call the quality of life people. Let's back it up and keep going.
After getting attacked while on his front lawn by at least 5 to 10 of the 100 street takeover participants and onlookers.
There was probably 4 to 5 cars in front of my house with multiple kids, and all starting to walk like on the property, on the grass or what have you. They were congregating.
After asking them to leave, he says the group started to surround him.
I was trying to watch my back because I knew there was people behind me. And the next thing I knew, I got hit from behind, went down, tried to cover up my face as much as possible. And then for some reason they stopped.
Other neighbors are deeply disturbed.
I know the guy that they beat. I know him well. He's a very nice guy.
One of my friends got hurt. Okay, he's the one that lives down there, and he got beat up pretty bad because it's terrible. I mean, we don't need that in this neighborhood.
A quiet, upscale community flooded by young strangers in a matter of minutes.
One guy was carrying a big flag, with a black flag with white writing on it, declaring that they're from the Bronx. And this is how we do things in the Bronx.
As for the injured neighbor, he says the police response was too slow.
So I have great respect, but this, unfortunately, someone dropped the ball.
A closer look at the skid marks. NYPD detectives returned today, canvassing this neighborhood, searching for evidence and speaking with witnesses to hopefully be able to lead to some arrests. In Malba, Queens, Shantae Lands, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Absolutely crazy. That is absolutely wild. Let's go over to one more video, see if we can get it from a different perspective.
And talk to me about who.
Meanwhile, we are back. This was the scene in New York City over the weekend as a mob of as many as 40 people took over a street in Queens, upper middle class, driving wildly, setting a car on fire, then attacking homeowners who tried to protect their families and their houses, including breaking one man's nose and ribs, as you can see in this disturbing video.
They're laughing. You hear them laughing and cheering? Yo, chill.
And they went after his wife, too. New York City Councilwoman Vicky Palladino represents the neighborhood where this all happened, joins us right now. Great to see you.
Thank you, Brian. Good to be here.
Your thoughts about what was taking place there, upper middle class, why that neighborhood? You said it's been hit before.
Malba is part of Whitestone. It's right after you come off the Whitestone Bridge. It's a hamlet. Yes, it's upper middle class. They have been plagued for the past 2 years with home robberies, burglaries, car theft, and just these wise guys, which the whole city's been
Where are
plagued.
they from?
This, we believe, a lot of them are from the Bronx, because while that guy was, you saw the video, while that guy was getting beat up, the homeowner who came out to defend his property, he was beaten, and he was beaten bad. It just happened.
And his wife got beat up.
He square to the jaw. She took a punch right to the jaw. She got right back up. He was not so fortunate. Broken nose, broken ribs, broken shoulder, hospitalized. I got my text at 6 o'clock in the morning.
This can't happen in the South. Tell you this right now, it can't happen in the South. Too many guns in the South. Ain't no way.
Morning from Blake, who was beaten up.
But the response time was not great.
No, the response time could have been better. There's a series of reasons for why this response time was not its usual 6 minutes. I was able to get from my district what we call the satellite district, because the 109 is tremendous now. It takes up a lot of Flushing. Not to bore you with the details, it became a metropolis in its own. Whitestone and the rest of District 19 is somewhat suburbia. So we got the satellite district. Satellite district brought us 55 more cops. These were not called in correctly all the time. They were called in as 311s instead of 911s. Those that did call in 911, like Blake's wife, the response time should have been better. They logged it out at 28 minutes.
Wow. So this group comes in, younger people.
Yeah.
Did she just say 28 minutes to get the police there after you just got jumped? And then they told them, they said that call the social workers, call 311. Those are who will deal with this situation. Crazy.
Target this area.
Yes.
Speeding around the neighborhood, and then did they start ransacking houses?
Well, no, they did not. What they did was they pulled in. They knew exactly. This was a planned attack. This was all preempted. They were prepared to do exactly what they did. They blocked off certain intersections of Malba, which is very, very, no sidewalks. It's a beautiful area. And they blocked it off. There's a circle. So while this guy's getting beat up here, the car was set on fire.
I want to hear what Madami said about crime in New York City and getting more cops. This is what he said on Meet the Press on Sunday.
That I think the number we have had budgeted of 35,000 officers is a sufficient number. What we have to do, however, is allow those officers to focus on policing. And what I mean by that is that in 2020, the response time for the NYPD was less than 11 minutes. Today, it's closer to 16 minutes. Large part of that is because officers are now having to deal with 200,000 mental health calls a year. And so our proposal is create a Department of Community Safety, task it with the mental health crisis, the homelessness crisis, and allow officers to focus on serious crimes.
Is that a good plan?
Sounds real good, doesn't it? Why don't we ask who he just hired as his to head up public safety? He just hired Alex Vitale. Who is Alex Vitale? Alex Vitale authored a book called Abolish Policing. All right, so he's talking out of two sides of his mouth. This is going to be a wait-and-see mayor.
Gotcha.
Okay, as soon as January 1 comes along, bam. Thank God we have Jessica Tisch.
Right, the police commissioners.
Absolutely crazy situation, y'all. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? They said that they called one of the wife of the husband who got jumped, called 911, but it took them 28 minutes to get there. 28 minutes after he got stomped on, after the wife was punched in the face, luckily able to get back up. 28 minutes. And they want to have more social workers. Now, do I think that social workers are needed? Yes, I think social workers are needed. But I don't think that social workers should go to some of these places alone. Because even though, yes, the social worker would be the best person to help, but you never know when the situation can get out of hand. Mental issues get out of, you don't know what can happen. Blows up when a police officer is needed. They need to budget for more police. That's my thing. They need more police officers. That way they can get that time down and then have social workers come with the police on certain calls. Don't send the social workers first. No. They need to send the police. Need to be the first ones to make sure that the scene is all right. Yes, there needs to be better training and all that stuff, but you can't just send social workers in there first. Now, that is my thinking. Let me know your thoughts. But that's a crazy situation happening in New York. I wonder if any of these kids will get arrested. How old were the kids? Where are the parents at? There's a lot of questions. They ended up setting a car on fire of a security guard, not caring about who they hurt. Estimated to be about 50 cars doing donuts and other stunts. Residents and private security guards tried to intervene. The security guard was assaulted. His vehicle was set on fire, and a local couple was brutally attacked, with a man suffering broken nose and ribs. What is happening to the world? But we got to review the world together, y'all. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. It's a crazy world we live in, y'all. It is a crazy world we live in. Keep your head on the swivel and you see somebody doing something crazy outside, call the police. Because you don't know if you'll get jumped on or not. I would have stayed in my house, looked out the window, called the police. As long as they don't try to break in, we good. They try to break in, got to handle myself and protect myself. Absolutely crazy, absolutely crazy. Let me know your thoughts. But let's pivot. We got to pivot over into, we got to go to Oregon. We got to go to Oregon. It looks like a pipeline leak being a major problem. And they're declaring an emergency. The Oregon is declaring an emergency. So let's get over into it. We've got a few videos to look at. So let's get over into it and see what we can learn from this situation. It's crazy out there, but you would never expect some of this stuff to happen, but it always does. It always does. But let's get over into it and see what we can learn from this situation.
State leaders say there is still no indication whether the pipeline leak has been stopped in Snohomish County. In addition to that scramble at the airport, there are new concerns tonight about environmental impacts. KOMO senior reporter Chris Daniels is near that site and joins us now with more. Chris.
Yeah, Molly, that's because this whole saga is now 2 weeks old, and you can see the over my shoulder where you see all those lights as we speak. BP is only saying at this point that they've excavated about 200 feet along the pipeline in a case that is now very similar to another one 2 years ago. Nearly out of public view, work crews are trying to put a plug in a crisis with widening proportions.
You know, I've been focused on the way the oil industry moves oil through our state ever since the Exxon Valdez in '89, you know, with commitment to making sure such a catastrophe doesn't happen here.
Fred Fellman is not speaking in his capacity as a Port of Seattle commissioner, but as a longtime environmental consultant, and says what he sees playing out in the blueberry fields concerns him.
Pipeline spills are quite different than those of ships in that they can go a long time before being detected. And this is the great challenge with, I believe that appears to be in this case, that a small leak can persist for some time.
This is now the third known time the pipeline has leaked in the past 5 years. Just this week, the state's Department of Ecology fined BP nearly $4 million and is seeking cleanup costs after this December 2023 leak near Conway that led to 21,000 gallons of gasoline leaching into the soil in a nearby fish-bearing stream. The state ended up having to remove trees and clean up the contaminated land. That leak was blamed on a corroded carbon steel nut, and it followed another pipeline leak in Woodinville in 2020. Despite stern requests from Washington Senator Maria Cantwell late last week, BP still has not shed any light on how expansive this latest leak may be or the damage it may have caused, only to say that the shutdown, now 2 weeks in the making, and the work in these fields continues. Congresswoman Susan Del Bene, who represents this district, and Senator Maria Cantwell's office both told me today they have been updated by BP on the situation. However, Cantwell had several questions she asked of BP on Friday that have not been answered, and they've not been answered to us either. Now, as far as the pipeline trust, the Olympic Pipeline Trust that was formed in 1999 after the catastrophic failure of the pipeline in Bellingham, they released a statement to me late this afternoon saying each new failure is a reminder that the Olympic Pipeline runs through our communities and every release demands accountability. These kinds of incidents cannot become routine. However, I did talk with Fred Fellman as well about what exactly may have transpired here and why it is taking so long for any sort of reporting on the pipeline's failure. That story coming up tonight at 6. But for now,
absolutely crazy. Pipeline leaking underground. It's understandable that it's hard to detect. You won't know until you start seeing the effects of it. You start seeing some stuff getting into contaminating the water. Plants dying, other things like that. But they got to do something. Either the pipe is too corroded, either they used, if certain sections of the pipe keeps leaking, then it is my thinking that eventually you just need to replace the whole pipe. But one, companies aren't going to want to do that. One, because costs is enormous amount of money, and they're trying to save as much money as they can. And two, they might have to most likely open them up to more lawsuits. But that's just my thinking. Let me know if you disagree or if I'm missing a certain point of it. Let's get over into this next video and see what else we can find out.
Developing tonight,
So it seems that the pipe leaking. The pipe leak is causing is causing travel delays. So let's get over into it.
Developing tonight, we have hit the 1 week mark of the shutdown of the Olympic pipeline, and the impact to passengers at SeaTac Airport is growing as the pressure builds on BP to find and fix the problem. Good evening, I'm Preston Phillips.
And I'm Mary Num. Airlines have started making adjustments. That means some direct flights are no longer nonstop.
We have team coverage tonight, including CT reporter Chris Daniels with an update on the investigation.
But we start with Michelle Esteban live at SeaTac Airport and the story she's hearing from passengers. Michelle?
Well, hi, guys. You get to the airport, right? And what do you want to do? You want to get on your plane and you want to get to your destination. I can tell you a number of folks, though, today, they got a text message from their airline saying, sorry, because of the pipeline, your plane is making a pit stop. The stories are starting to surface.
We anticipated there might be some delays. We're just glad we're getting out.
Andy Lawson's family's direct flight no longer nonstop.
We are flying to Atlanta. We are going to stop in Salt Lake instead of the direct flight we initially had. We're going to stop in Salt Lake and refuel, and then it's going to last about an hour.
Scheduling some long-haul flights to make a pit stop.
All right, question. Does that entitle me to a discount? Because usually direct flights are more expensive. But does that entitle me to a discount? Let's keep going.
Stop for jet fuel is one way airlines are dealing with being cut off abruptly from their jet fuel supply, right in the middle of one of the busiest holiday travel times. This is an important week.
It is. We're going to see my mother, my sister, our daughter, So, family trip.
Alaska Airlines told me 12 long-haul flights a day will make a stop to refuel.
We just got a notification that our Alaska Airlines flight was delayed today.
How's that sitting with you?
It's, a little bit of an inconvenience because we have dinner reservations in Texas, and so we might be late for our dinner reservations.
The Olympic pipeline sprung a leak 2 weeks ago and will remain shut down until BP crews find the source and make repairs. But the main contingency plan is this: a steady stream of tankers delivering to fuel farms at the Port of Seattle, which distributes the go juice to waiting aircraft at the gates. SeaTac says this time of year, cancellations are typical, but none so far are linked to the pipeline.
You're going to know before you get here whether or not your flight's going to happen.
Initially, we were more worried about the TSA and government shutdown stuff. So when that cleared, we were like, okay, we're good. And then the pipeline thing, we're like, okay, maybe not.
You get past one thing and something else pops up. Thought you was good because the government back open. Now the pipeline. And that's causing more delays. Let's keep going.
Love the fact that he's still laughing, though. You got to have a sense of humor here. Now, some of the routes impacted international flights as well as domestic. Some of the ones I saw here today: Boston, Atlanta, Hawaii, New York City. And remember, the crush is coming. The busiest days, Wednesday, Sunday, and Monday, with Sunday expected to be the busiest of all, with over 180,000 passengers here at SeaTac. I'll throw it back to you.
Michelle, how and when are passengers getting notified if their flight is interrupted or affected by the pipeline?
Well, they typically, what I found today is anecdotally, they are getting text messages from their carriers, and that's probably because they signed up for those kinds of notifications. But it's really a good idea, right, to check with your airline, go to the app, go online, double check on the flight status, and as always, get here early.
I'll be sick. I mean, ain't nothing you can do about it, but it would be inconvenience. Would make me a little upset, but I mean, you just got to do what you got to do. At least they are getting there, and you got one extra stop. But let's get over into this next video.
A massive pipeline from Oregon to Washington has been turned off for weeks after an oil leak was detected. There are now concerns that it could affect holiday travelers. CBS News correspondent Chanel Call has been monitoring the situation from our CBS newsroom. Chanel, thank you for joining us today. Do drivers in the Pacific Northwest need to be concerned about this?
Well, at this point, I should note, Mugo, that there isn't a shortage of fuel in Oregon. But this step, the declaration of a state of emergency that the governor there took today, was essentially in an attempt to try to prevent that situation from happening. Now, the reason that there is a bit of concern there is because the Olympic pipeline is shut down right now. And of course, the timing here is so important because we're in the middle of this very busy holiday Thanksgiving week where so many people are going to be traveling and they're going to need fuel to be able to do that, whether you're taking a plane or driving a car or riding in a bus, right? So this is an essential need right now. That's why the governor took this step today. Now, the reason this shutdown is so significant, Mugo, is because this is a pipeline that runs from Washington all the way to Oregon. It supplies, by the way, more than 90% of that state's fuel. The leak was reported on November 11th, Mugo. Now we know the entire pipeline has been shut down since November 17th. Washington state's governor also declared a state of
Wow, do
emergency.
y'all see that fuel? Look, they're undercover. That's got to be some fuel mixed in with the dirt.
5 days ago. They did this also to ensure that fuel is delivered to the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport ahead of this very important Thanksgiving week. I want to read you part of a statement that was sent out last night by BP with a bit of an update here. So they say Olympic pipeline crews have now identified the source of a release of refined products east of Everett, Washington. Testing conducted today confirmed a leak in the 20-inch pipeline. There were no indications of a leak in the 16-inch pipeline. Crews are developing a repair plan for the 20-inch segment, and plans for a partial restart are being developed, and an updated restart timeline will be provided when available. It also goes on to say the safety of personnel, the environment, and the community remain our highest priority. So at this point, still a couple of big unanswered questions. I mean, we still don't know how much fuel was actually released here, but BP says that it is now working with a couple of different agencies, so federal, local, tribal authorities, to try to figure out how they can assess the situation very quickly and deal with that cleanup. Again, the governor today declaring this state of emergency so they can make sure they have enough fuel for this important Thanksgiving week. Back to you.
Absolutely crazy. If it's not one thing, it's another. If it's not one thing, it's another. People thought that they were been fine flying, but then a pipeline leak. Now, remember, this isn't the first time this pipeline has leaked. It's leaked before, twice before. If it keeps leaking, eventually they're just going to have to replace the whole thing. But the company is not going to want to do that because that's just going to cause them more money. Probably open them up to more lawsuits. It's a crazy situation. But it looks like they have found the source of the leak and they are underway coming up with a plan to repair it. I think the plan would be easy to repair, it'd be easy to come up with a plan to repair it because you've repaired it twice before. But hey, they got to do what they got to do. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Have you been affected by this? Or have you even heard about this? More pollution in the ground, more pollution in the ground. But we got to review the world together, y'all. We got to review the world together. We're going to pivot over into the very last thing. Like I said, now that I'm doing it Monday through Friday, live stream Monday through Friday, we're going to do 4 topics. So this will be the 4th topic for the day and last topic. And then I'll be back with y'all tomorrow, either 6 or 7. Y'all know a few hours before the exact time. But let's get over into it. This next thing we're going to pivot to Slender Man stabbing. So the 2014 Slender Man stabbing. Morgan Gracier. So it looks like we got some body cam footage. I don't even know exactly what all this situation is about, but let's get over into it. It seems a crazy situation that seems interesting and that we wanted to review the world together about, or review it with y'all about. So let's get over into it and see what we can learn from this situation and see what we can find out. We got some they got body cam footage of her being arrested, but it's always a crazy world, y'all. There's always a crazy world, but let's get over into it. See what we can find out.
This morning, the search now over for 22-year-old Morgan Geyser, the woman at the center of the Slender Man stabbing case. Geyser was taken into custody in Illinois after police in Madison, Wisconsin say she cut off her ankle monitoring bracelet and escaped from a group home Saturday night. Police overnight confirming she was found at a truck stop 25 miles south of Chicago with another person who was also detained. Her lawyer made this plea while she was on the run.
Do not continue to remain on the run like this. It is not in your best interest to handle this matter that way.
Back in 2014, Geyser and another girl, Anissa Wire, both 12 at the time, lured their classmate Peyton Leitner into the woods, where Geyser stabbed Leitner 19 times to impress a faceless, fictional online character known as Slender Man. Leitner survived the attack.
Hold on. We got to back that up. We got to back that up. That was crazy.
Back in 2014, Geyser and another girl, Anissa Wire, both 12 at the time, lured their classmate Peyton Leitner into the woods, where Geyser stabbed Leitner 19 times to impress a faceless, fictional online character known as Slender Man. Leitner survived the attack, and Geyser pleaded guilty, saying this in court in 2018.
Ms. Geyser, would you like to say anything?
I just want to let Bella and her family know I'm sorry. I never meant this to happen.
So at 12, she tried to impress a demon, the Slender Man. If you're not sure about who that is, look that up. It's a scary story, like a Halloween monster, basically. But she tried to impress him and stabbed her friend, or not a really friend, 19 times, trying to impress the Slender Man. Crazy.
He was found not guilty by reason of mental disease or defect and was sentenced to up to 40 years in a psychiatric institution. But earlier this year, over the objection of prosecutors, a judge cleared the way for her supervised release. Prosecutors claimed Geyser had, quote, violent communication with a man outside the facility and had read a book with themes of sexual sadism and murder. But 3 psychologists testified she was ready for the move. Leitner told our David Muir this in 2019.
I still sleep with like a broken pair of scissors underneath the pillow next to me, just in case.
We're expecting to learn more today about the person Geyser was with when she was detained last night and what happens next for her.
So she was supposed to get 40 years in a mental institution. But the lawyer said, nah, she's fine now. She's fine. Just have supervised, let her be supervised at the home. What happens when she's supervised at home? She cuts off her ankle monitor and flees. Let's keep going. Let's get over into this next video.
It was a crime that shocked the nation, and now a woman who stabbed her 6th grade classmate to win favor with a fictional internet character named Slender Man more than a decade ago is back in police custody after a brief escape. Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
Saturday night in Madison, Wisconsin, authorities say Morgan Geyser left her group home, met up with an acquaintance, then vanished. Years after, she pleaded guilty to attempted murder in the 2014 stabbing of her 12-year-old classmate. Police say she cut off the monitoring bracelet law enforcement used to track her. In a video posted to social media this weekend, her attorney, Tony Cotton, spoke directly to Geyser.
If Morgan happens to see this, turn yourself in. Do not continue to remain on the run like this. It is not in your best interest to handle this matter that way.
More than 24 hours later, Geyser was found sleeping at a truck stop around 150 miles from Madison. She was with another person whom police did not identify. The two were taken into custody, according to police. In January, a judge ordered Geyser to be released from a mental institute where she spent nearly 7 years based on recommendations from court-appointed doctors. Prosecutors argued she remained a danger to herself and others.
Most people are not capable of taking a knife and plunging it into someone else. One time, Morgan, as we know, did it 19 times.
19 times. She was already supposed to be in there for 40 years. She was in there for 7. But then they was like, oh, well, I guess She's fine. She's fine to go out on her own. The prosecution's saying, no, she's not. As soon as she's out on her own, what happens? Flees.
When she was just 12 years old, Geyser and her friend Anissa Wire lured their classmate Peyton Leitner to a park in Waukesha, Wisconsin, where they stabbed her 19 times to impress Slender Man, a boogeyman for the internet age. Leitner survived, crawling out of the woods to safety, where she was discovered by a passing bicyclist. In Atlanta, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Wisconsin.
Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next. We got to actually see some body cam footage of when she was arrested. Let's get over into it.
Wisconsin woman convicted in the 2014 Slender Man stabbing is back in custody in Chicago. She was caught in Posen last night after escaping from her group home in Madison.
Courtney Spinelli is live at the police station there with new video and details. Courtney?
Yeah, good evening to you both. 23-year-old Morgan Geyser was caught here in Posen, more than 150 miles from the place where she was last seen. Tomorrow, she will face a judge for an extradition hearing as she awaits her transfer back to Wisconsin. We now have new body-worn camera video from the moment that officers found her and a friend last night at a nearby truck stop.
You guys.
After nearly 24 hours on the run, Slender Man stabbing assailant Morgan Geyser's escape coming to an end. It was a call from an employee about two people sleeping in the cold outside that brought officers to this truck stop around 9 Sunday night.
I just want to make sure you guys are some place you want to go.
Initially, they were reluctant to give any type of identification, and then they gave them two names, but the names that they gave them came back with nothing, no information.
Police Chief William Alexander says that reluctance raised red flags.
Give me your name and date of birth. You're not wanted for murder, right?
Right.
Ah. Okay, then there shouldn't be any problem.
About 9
Said you're not wanted for murder, right? Yeah, right, yeah.
minutes after officers arrived, body-worn camera video shows Geyser admit this before telling officers her real name and to just Google her.
I did something wrong. She didn't. She doesn't know what I did.
Geyser was taken into custody along with her friend, 43-year-old Charlie, a trans woman whose government name is Chad Mecca. Charlie, who is charged with criminal trespassing and
I'm sorry I did that.
Obstructing identification, spoke exclusively with WGN's Sean Lewis, saying Geyser shared the plan Saturday to get away from Wisconsin.
What was the plan? Did you have a plan? Did she have a plan?
We didn't have a real plan. Just get as far away as we could. Just vanish.
A police report shows Geyser told officers the pair met at church. She claims she was treated unfairly at her group home and upset she was no longer allowed to see her friend, who on several occasions snuck in the home by climbing through a window. Geyser told police she cut off her bracelet with scissors and planned to potentially head to Nashville, Tennessee.
I'm very proud of what the clerk at to call us, and I'm proud of my officers for pushing to establish their correct identity and take them off the street, because that's somebody that we don't want in our town or in our communities at all.
Geyser and a friend pleaded guilty to luring their classmate into a wooded area in Waukesha, Wisconsin when they were 12 years old. Geyser stabbed Peyton Leitner 14 times while her friend watched. The pair admitted they did it to impress a fictional online character called Slender Man. She was committed to a psychiatric hospital for 40 years, but a judge granted her petition to be moved to a group home, the transfer happening in September. The prosecuting attorney against that move, sharing her comments after Geyser's capture.
Not only should she have been in custody from 2014 forward, but also Attorney Nicolai argued vehemently for her not to be released to conditional release.
Yeah, they argued about it. But let's get over into this one more video. More body cam
convicted in the 2014 Slender Man stabbing is back in custody in Chicago's southwest suburbs. She was caught in Posen last night after leaving her Wisconsin group home.
WGN's Courtney Spinelli has video of the arrest.
23-year-old Morgan Geyser was caught here. A judge granted
fast forward a little bit so we can get into more of the newer body cam footage.
Geyser's request to move to a group home.
So sorry, God.
Back in custody Monday, Geyser was taken to the county courthouse in Markham. It appears reality hits her at this point as she sobbed for more than a minute while alone in the squad car.
I'm so sorry. I wish I had it.
Geyser is set to face a judge tomorrow for an extradition hearing. In the meantime, the Waukesha County District Attorney today says that she is highly concerned the victim's family was never notified of Geyser's escape by anyone but their office. In Posen tonight, I'm Courtney Spinelli, WGN News.
Wow, absolutely crazy, y'all. 2014, 12 years old, you kill a friend, a classmate. I wouldn't call her a friend, a classmate, because you're trying to impress a fictional demon, a fictional monster, Slender Man. You don't stab her once, you don't stab her twice, you stab her 19 times. Stab her 19 times. Somehow she survives. Luckily, by the grace of God, she survives. You get put into a mental institution instead of jail. Supposed to be for 40 years. 40 years. But after 7, they're like, oh, well, I think she's learned her lesson. I think she can be at home, supervised in a group home. Not too much longer after you were in the group home, or a little while, I don't know how long she was in there, but she ends up running away, cutting her ankle monitor, and trying to flee. Flee to another state with, I'm assuming, her transgender lover. It's a crazy world. Should she have been released? I don't think so. I guess I can see her being her getting her original sentence of being like mentally ill, to where she gets placed in a mental institution instead of prison reasonable, because she was at 12 trying to impress a fictional monster. So yeah, I can consider that being your mind's not in the right place. Is the nicest way to say it. But should they have canceled it from 40 years? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But that is the justice system we have. That is the justice system we have. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Absolutely crazy, y'all. But what do I always got to say? We got to review the world together. We have to review the world together. That is the end of the show today. Thank you for watching now. Thank you for watching later. We will be back here again tomorrow, because I'm not, from now on, I'm Monday through Friday. I'm going to keep saying this. I'm Monday through Friday. It's either going to be at 6 or 7. 6 or 7 for an hour. We're going to go over 4 topics. 4 topics, and those videos will be broken down like always. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know if you disagree with anything I said. Remember, y'all, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be up to date on all the videos I'm dropping. Thank you for always tuning in, and thank you for tuning in later, y'all. Y'all already know I got to play that outro. But now see y'all tomorrow. Peace.